Today we're going to be looking at a Danish heart. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel Casualistic, and hi to my new subscribers. Thank you very much for joining me on my crochet vlog channel. So today we're going to be looking at this. This is called a Danish heart. I will explain why I've made a heart. It's not just because it's Valentine's Day. I have sort of a double meaning for it really, but I'll explain what I'm going to do with that at the end. So the yarn I've used is all it's out of my own personal stash. So it's Mariner double knit, and this one is 047 pale blue. I already had it caked up because this was a ball I'd already started, and that's roughly how much I've used from the inside. I'm a centre puller. And then shade 040 in the colour white. So, and then again, that's how much I've pulled for the centre, so you can see roughly what size ball it was. So this is a really good scrap project. Now this is a tutorial here on YouTube, and it's called the Crochet Danish Heart Christmas Decoration. It's by, I don't know how you pronounce this channel's name, so I apologise if the person ends up watching. It's Osa, I don't know if that's Osa Huge or Hyde or quite how you pronounce it. So that's what theirs look like. So they've done it as a Christmas decoration, because you could do it in any colour, and that's the name of the channel, but I'll put the link for it down in the description. Now this is actually a lot simpler than it looks. Basically what you're creating is two, now this is very crudely drawn, two of these. So you have two sort of things this shape. So basically these bits here and here are gaps, so you end up with 1, 2, 3 prongs and rounded ends. So it doesn't look anything like a heart when you actually create it. It's only when you actually assemble it that it looks like a heart. So don't get discouraged by that, because I was very confused when I was doing it. So so it starts with a chain, and you chain upwards, and then you're working, you put a stitch marker in the first chain from the hook, and then you work in every single crochet across, chain across with single crochet, US terms double crochet if you're in the UK, all the stitches are that. You put extra stitches at the end, you work back down the chain, and then you put extra stitches in where you've marked with your stitch marker. You also put a stitch marker at this end, which she does tell you where to put it, and you go round a couple of times. We're doing increases at each end. Then the third round you do your extra stitches this end, and then you do a chain, you skip loads of stitches, reattach it with a single crochet, extra stitches this side, and then you get round to here, and then again you do another chain right the way across, join it with a single crochet, extra stitches at the end, and that's it. And then from there on in, you're basically working in the round with extra stitches this end, extra stitches that end, and that's basically it. Now the stitches on either end do vary in amounts and where, so you might do single crochet, 2 single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet. Another stitch might be 2 single crochet for the 3 stitches, or so it does vary, so you do need the tutorial for that. I'm not going to give that away on here because of obvious reasons. There's already a tutorial for that, and I just don't really feel that that's needed, but it gives you a rough idea of the construction. And then what you do is you fold your length in half, so you fold both of them in half, and then basically you just weave because you end up with 3 prongs. So as you can see, there's a prong here, here and here, and then the same there, 1, 2 and 3. So basically all you're doing is weaving these in and out of each other so that they cross over, and that's basically it. Then you create a little hanger, which is basically a chain with single crochets in. I think there's the end chain, I think has 3 single crochet in the end, but it doesn't really matter either way really. And you sew that inside, so obviously it looks neat. Now that basically is where the tutorial ends. Now for me, my yarn was, probably because of my tension, was Right, I'm hoping this is going to carry on focusing. I'm just going to pause the camera to turn the lights off because it plays havoc with my focus. Just be back in 1 second. I'm back. Sorry about that. I knew if I didn't turn the lights off, they're on a timer. I'm normally recorded by now. This is about my 10th take. It's been one of those days today. So the lights come on and they play havoc with my focus, I've discovered. So I thought best to turn them off. So sorry for that little interruption. So as I was saying, I found that the two edges, because you're folding it together like that, I found that these edges were like curling out like that, and obviously the same for that one. So what I've done is I got some blue and I just whip stitched around that edge, fastened off, weaved in my ends, and then I did the same here as well round. Now what I did with the white as well is I've weaved a couple of little stitches through on the white, sort of here, and then underneath the blue on both sides, so underneath it and then round, and because otherwise these bits could have slipped off, and as you can see they're now fastened so they don't come off. You don't have to do that. That for me it was a personal choice to keep it in place, to keep it looking nice, because I'm going to be posting this off. I don't know who's going to end up with it and whether it's going to be a child or not, and I just didn't want any kind of injuries to happen or for it to just end up looking horrible, because if it came unravelled and you didn't know how to basket weave, then it would be a problem. But that's basically how it's done. Now my only criticism of the tutorial, it's really not for beginners. You've got to know where to put your stitches. She sped most of the video up, I suspect probably to save time so it becomes a shorter video. So you do have to press pause a lot. I did find it a little bit too quick in places. There's a lot of repetition, so it's very easy to lose your place, so you do need to kind of sit and do it in one session. What I found, one of the things I did find, my first couple of goes, it took me 3 goes to get the blue one right first go, because I started blue. But when you have because you've got the chain here, this is where one of the chains is, and you've worked single crochets into. When you do your single crochets over the top, it was very easy to miss a stitch here, where you've gone from a chain into a single crochet, and that kept throwing my stitch count out when I got to the ends and I didn't have enough stitches. So it's just something to be aware of. I couldn't work out what I was doing wrong to start with, and then after a couple of goes I realised I was missing a stitch. You do need to be very careful of that when you get round after you've done the chain row. But that's basically it. I'm really pleased with how it's come out. Like I said, if you're intermediate or above, you should be fine. I mean, you could give it a go as a beginner, but I think personally, because she doesn't show you where exactly to put every single stitch, it could be confusing. So really depends on what level you're at. So the reason I've made a heart is not just to be corny, because Valentine's Day is coming up. I'm recording this on the 13th of February, which is a Tuesday, so it's Valentine's Day tomorrow. I'm not celebrating, I'm not interested, to be quite honest. I've got no man in my life, not really that bothered about it. I'm just really disinterested, probably more than I've ever been this year. But it is about love, and I like to think it's more than just love. You know, I think it's about loving other people in general and being kind to people. So the reason I've done this, this will be going off to something that those of you who've been with me for a while will remember, but it's coming up for the year anniversary for A Heart for Manchester. Now, if you've not heard of A Heart for Manchester, there was A Heart for Manchester and A Heart for London, were two groups that set up. I was actually an admin on A Heart for London, and the Heart for Manchester was started by a lady called Beth Clark, who is really lovely. I have had the opportunity to speak to her online before. She's an absolute sweetheart. Now, she set up after the Manchester bombings, where there were a lot of children and people were killed, which was a terrorist attack. She decided to show the world that love would always triumph over hate, by getting people in the craft world, particularly crocheters and knitters, but there were sewers and all sorts. Anyone could make a heart, paper crafters, anybody. If you could make a heart out of a craft, be it wood or paper or yarn or whatever, you could send the hearts in, and she hung them out throughout the city for people to take home as a little reminder with little tags on that love is far stronger than hate. So she's doing the year anniversary, believe it or not, is coming up for a Heart for Manchester, so she's put a plea out for more hearts. So this will be going off to a Heart for Manchester, or it's a Heart for MCR, I think she calls it. And I'll be sending this to Manchester with a tag for somebody to, when Beth puts them out across the city, for a complete stranger to pick up, take home, and hopefully they'll like it, and just to remind them that love will always overcome hatred. Now, I don't know whether we're going to do that for a Heart for London. I very much doubt it, because the logistics of obviously doing any kind of event in London is far more difficult, particularly given that one of the terrorist attacks was in the Westminster area, which obviously is one of the most secure areas of London. So I don't know whether we'll be doing it for Heart for London. It hasn't actually come up as a topic of discussion, so I don't know. So I wanted to at least acknowledge, particularly because there were children that were killed with the Heart for Manchester. So this is where this will be going. So I'm going to link Beth's group down in the description. So that's it for today for the craft bit. I hope that's kind of been clear enough for you. Like I said, I'll link the tutorial down in the description. And yeah, so now we're on to the life update. Not an awful lot has happened. Obviously, I told you about the incident with the whole Sky nonsense on my last video, so I'm not going to go back into that. So that still needs to be sorted. This is about my 10th take recording. Finally, I've got through this. Chip played me up merry hell, shall we say. She's got very amorous, so I had to stop her because A, it will trigger eggs, and we don't want that, because then it can make her very poorly. She then decided, because I've had to shut the door, so because my friend has the TV on in the other room, and obviously I don't want that to pick up on the video and get copyrighted, she then decided to fly down onto my wicker basket and start eating that, so then I had to stop her. I then had another take, and the phone went. Never happens. I had another take, and my lights came on, and the blurring and all that. So honestly, it's just been one of those days. So there's not really been much happening, other than I've had a bit of an eventful morning. Today really is just one of those days. I went shopping with my mum to the supermarket this morning. I was only gone for an hour. It's something I do quite regularly. Came home and found my friend on the floor. She'd fallen and had a massive gash across her head. It's quite a lot of blood, because those of you with first aid train will know that head injuries can bleed quite profusely, even for a very small cut. So I had to sort of do that and put steri strips on. It was a little bit borderline whether I was going to have to take her for stitches or not, so I just got to play that one by ear. I'm hoping not, because she doesn't cope with busy places at all. So so she's had a fall. She's a bit sore, but she's okay now, thankfully. My neighbour's grandson, he's 17, nearly 18, happened to be in, and I screamed for help, because obviously physically getting her up off the floor, so he came and helped me, bless him. So I've took him a little pack of Jelly Baby sweets as a thank you, you know. So that was nice. It goes to show that not all teenagers are bad. So he's, you know, he was pretty good. He was very calm. He was much calmer than me, believe it or not. So, but she's fine. She's just very sore. So just got to keep an eye on her. It's just one of those things, you know, people have falls and can't be helped. But other than that, life's been quiet. But like I say, it's been one of those days, so I'm just hoping that the rest of the week's not going to be quite so eventful. So how are you all? I hope you haven't had any horrible falls or events like we've had this morning. What are you working on? How has life been treating you all? I've almost caught up on messages. I still have a lot of comments to do. it just seems to be a never-ending stream when you're doing YouTube, because you get messages from all sorts of different people, which I love, and I love interacting with you guys, comments, and I try and reply to everybody because I don't like people to feel like they're being ignored. But obviously I'm still trying to catch up. I'm almost there. But yes, I hope wherever you are in the world that you're okay and life is treating you kindly. So that's it for today. I'm going to finish it here. I'm sure you appreciate that I need to keep it fairly short because I need to get back to caring for my friend. If you're new to the channel, I'm a full-time carer to a friend. So she obviously is my main priority. So I'm going to disappear off now and continue keeping an eye on her today. Very close eye today. So that's it. So the next video will be a bear using yarn that one of my subscribers sent me, lovely Amanda, sent me for my birthday. The bear has come out absolutely enormous. He's like this size. He's huge. So big, in fact, I didn't have any safety eyes big enough, so I've had to create my own eyes, so I'm not too happy with the eyes, but you'll see what I mean when you see it. So that will be the next video, an enormous bear. So yeah, that will be coming up in the next video, and who knows where we'll go after that. Depends on where my whim takes me as to what I feel like making. So I'll put the links down for Heart for Manchester down in the description, so you can find it. So if you don't know about it, you can join the Facebook group, and there's lots of information from Beth on there as to what you need to do and the address and all that sort of stuff. So I hope you found that useful. Obviously, don't forget you can also use this as Christmas decorations. You can use this for decorations for Valentine's Day. There's all sorts of uses, so that's why I've done it. So that's it. So until next time, remember to stay well, happy crafting, and until next time, remember to stay true to yourself. Bye.